Welcome to the Love Holistic Living podcast, your roadmap to heal and align mind, body, and soul and become intuitive through food, pleasure, and spirituality with your host and Italian friend, Sara. Are other women jealous of you? Welcome back to another episode with your Italian friend and spiritual guide, Sara with Love Holistic Living. I am so excited about this episode because a couple months ago, one of my video on TikTok went viral. Hundreds of thousands of women connected with this message that I had posted after a personal breakup with a friend who I felt really betrayed by. And I literally said, you will inspire strong women, but insecure women will be jealous of you. And literally hundreds of thousands of women commented and they felt the same way. So for a second, I realized that I wasn't the only one with a story of betrayal and jealousy from other women. So I started to process that with them and also realized that there was a need to make a podcast episode. So please click the like button and subscribe. And right now, let me know in the comments with a yes if you've ever been in this situation where other women are jealous of you. Because I think this cycle needs to stop. We need to stand by each other, for each other, support each other. And there is a lot of BS that women support women, when in reality, a lot of women stab other women in the back. It happened to me in court through my divorce. It happened to me at school. It happened to me at a job. It happened to me just in the community. And I asked myself many times what was happening. Now, what Spirit has told me and the information I have downloaded that I want to share with you is that it is for many a generational and or ancestral pattern cycle of the witch wound or the sister wound, where women have been betraying each other for centuries. They've been pointing the fingers, sending other women to the stake to burn because they were witches, and instead of protecting each other. And I do believe this must come to an end in this century. But there are dynamics. There are reasons why women feel jealous and or feel like other women are a threat. And I want to explain the different reasons why in this episode, hoping that you connect with what I'm saying. But I'm going to go a little bit deeper into my personal story. I love telling stories. I think we can learn from stories. The first time it ever clicked to me that other women were jealous of me was when I was in middle school. I had just moved from a village to a village in Italy, and this village was kind of like resistant to the outsiders already. For me, it was very traumatic because I had a wonderful life before my ninth birthday with my community, my friends. I loved elementary school, and I knew that other girls were jealous, but it wasn't as impactful because I still had a lot of friends and there were more people. Then I moved to a smaller village and literally I had no friends but one. And it was very insightful at the same time. It was an experience that traumatized me, but then it was insightful because I started asking myself why. And as a young girl, and this is my personality, I tend to confront people. I think it's the Italian fire in me, but if there is any BS that I don't like, I go and ask. And I remember approaching this group of girls, middle school, and I was like, can you tell me why I can't be part of the group? And literally they said, because you're blonde and blue eyes. And I looked around and there was a blonde and blue eyed girl. At that time, though, I decided to walk away. I wasn't able to articulate anything else. And I had a lot of guy friends. And I asked them, like, why? Why is this happening to me? And they were like, because everybody likes you, especially guys. And so they feel you like a threat. And to me, that was the first like embodiment of emotions where I was like, I just don't understand. I don't understand jealousy. Like there's more than enough. And I know who I am, but I also think that they're great. Like we have different skills. We have different body types. I literally didn't understand. And it was the first time I started asking myself, I started noticing these dynamics, right? It kept going. From that moment on, it kept going in high school. And I tried so hard to fit in, yet I couldn't fit in. And I think if you feel the same way, you're not meant to fit in. Then it continued in adulthood and it got worse because not only I was isolated from women, but I was gaslighted and I was betrayed hardcore. Like it became a pattern. I'm big on breaking patterns and helping people break patterns. So if you ever are in this pattern and you want to break it, head down into the links to book your subconscious reprogramming because I literally broke that pattern in my life. And I'm so happy that genuine relationships are coming their way. But what I'm trying to say is that women, it continued and it got harder and more brutal. Like through court, someone who was my best friend or claimed to be my best friend threw me under the bus with lies that God knows why. Like she created them. And I had other women that saw that what happened and they texted me that morning saying, we can't come and support you. And I realized that actually women maybe might be more selfish than what they say they are, because I really call out the bullshit when other women say, we stand out for women, and then they betray each other. And I don't like dramas. So if you are in this cycle, please let me know in the comments. I would love to know because I would love to stand by each other's side. And I also want to create a group of women who wants to break patterns, who are empathic, who have always had jealous women coming at them, because I believe that a genuine heart needs a genuine heart to thrive. And I might not answer every text, but the moment you say you need me, I'll be in my car driving. And in this video though, I want to share with you the main reasons why other women may be feeling jealous of you. The number one reason is that they perceive you as a threat. Maybe because you're attractive, because you're successful, more successful than they are, or because you are gaining more attention than they are. So these behaviors are really connected to an ego-based mindset. So they are led by the ego, by the fact that if they're not getting more attention than you, then they're not number one. And also by their trauma, childhood trauma, that they needed to be first to seek the love of their parents. Maybe it's about they perceive you more attractive, and we're going to talk about that in a second. And also your achievements. They haven't been able to do what you did in this amount of time. Instead of looking at their own life and embody their own life, they're looking at you and they perceive you as a threat. So be mindful of that, because we're going to be talking about insecurity, which is, I think, is the biggest wound for women who perceive other women as a threat and they feel jealous, is because they're honestly feeling so insecure about who they are. I come from eating disorder, body dysmorphia, and I was so insecure about myself. People would be jealous of me that I was blonde and blue eyes with a thinner body, and yet I was struggling. I was severely in pain emotionally because I did not love myself. I did not like who I was. I wanted curly hair. I wanted a bigger rounded bottom and upper top. I wanted thinner, more feminine fingers. I wanted a straight nose. I wanted bigger lips. I even promised myself that I would have plastic surgery once I was 18. And then I didn't have any money at the time. My parents were not giving me money for that. So I realized that the only option was to learn to own who I was, to actually learn what self was. And that was my only option. I was either going to continue the road path of feeling secure and broken, or I could embody self-love and actually try to like myself. And this came up literally a couple weeks ago with my best friend. We went through body dysmorphia together growing up. We've known each other since elementary school. And throughout this vacation a couple weeks ago, she continued to criticize herself and compare herself to me. She was like, I want straight hair. I want a leaner body. I want thinner arms. And she kept comparing herself to me. And I looked at her and I was like, do you understand how beautiful you are? Do you understand that your body is making you who you are? And I have, for so many years, wanted a rounded body because when you're leaner and you have a flat bottom, when you are with a partner, sometimes you want to have more so that they can actually be exposed to more. So we always want what's greener on the other side, just so you know. So might as well enjoy what you have. And we talked about that for hours, but you can't live a life feeling insecure and wanting to change. I mean, you're just going to prolong your suffering. So might as well try to like yourself. And actually, when I practiced self-love, there was a light that shined that I never seen in myself, and my hair became softer, and all of, when you have these spiritual upgrades and self-love working through you at a cellular level, you start to glow from the inside out. And I wish that for all the women, to all the women, that they find that within themselves. Because until you don't embody who you are, you live a life suffering. And there is no reason why the universe, God, gave you a beautiful physical attributes, emotionally attributes. Why wishing to be someone else? Sometimes, since I was little, I was like, I'm very not logical. But then I started to build a business upon my intuition. I was like, why not? Like, logic doesn't work with me. I mean, you need data and all of that, but my strength is intuition, and I can get it right by following the right brain. So why am I fighting against the current? Okay, the next one is romantic relationships and competition. Oftentimes, women feel threatened because they don't feel secure in their own relationship with their partners. And I believe this is not about you, but it's about them. But what happens is when they feel threatened, they project their own insecurities onto you. Like they target the other person because it is easier to do so than to look at their relationship and admit that work needs to be done. Because if I am in a secure relationship with my partner, I know who I am. I know that if they do something, they'll lose me, and vice versa. Then we are in a secure relationship, and there is respect that bonds each other, that bonds us both, which means you do something, you're gone. I do something disrespectful, you leave me. And it's based upon that security of, I want to be with you right now. I value who you are. But if they are in an insecure relationship, then every woman, just you, will feel like a threat. So remember that it's oftentimes not about you. I mean, you need to be also looking at what you're doing. And so if you are not leading the other partner in any possible way, if you are being genuine, a friend, and you're just being you, then you know that you're not doing anything to destabilize the relationship, then you're good. Like you're clean. And I remember that I have been accused to try to destabilize the relationship of my friend and her husband, when in reality I was so in love with someone else, and she knew. But it all came out in a couple of years, and I remember being so shocked, and I was like, where did that come? I was like, did you see me crying and being so consumed by this person? I wasn't even thinking about this. That person to me was a friend, and just because you feel insecure, don't project it on me. And so then I learned the projection. So you've got to be mindful of the projection. And remember, check in with yourself and take ownership of what you do. But the next one is social dynamics. So oftentimes people feel jealous, they perceive the difference in status, and they wish to be someone else. They wish to be in your own situation. I have had clients that came to me to break this generational cycle, and they felt so jealous of other women that had it all. They were married to a rich husband and they didn't have to work. And I literally sat them down and I said, you can be consumed with this thought that you want to be in their position and feel consumed by anger, or you can be okay with where you're at in your journey, own who you are, what you've gone through, and then still get what they have, but in better shape, or actually have the love of your life rather than a partnership, you know? So release that anger towards other women who have what you have, and realize that jealousy is just a way to show you where you need to go and what potential you have. I'm literally not a jealous person, but the only time I've ever felt like envy a little bit was towards other spiritual entrepreneurs who were my age, and they were having more success. And I literally sat with myself and I was meditating. I'm always curious. And I said, okay, why am I feeling this way? And I realized that jealousy was just showing me that that path was available to me too, but not through their way. I needed to create it with my own energy and embody who I was. Because comparison is the first thing that is going to kill your success, your manifestation process. So remember that. And then the last thing is that personal qualities. They might be jealous of you because you have certain skill set that they don't have, and or certain charisma and confidence that they don't have. And if confidence is what you seek, then that's coming from the inside. You can't buy confidence, but you can do the inner work. I'm huge in inner work, subconscious reprogramming, and that's what I facilitate with all my clients so that they can be the best version of themselves, the most powerful and magnetic version of themselves. And if you are in this boat and you want to break the cycle and gain that confidence of embodiment, then click the link below to book your session right now. But in a way, what I'm closing this episode with is, if other women are jealous of you, you're not alone. But you can break this cycle and you can start attracting women that support you, that look at you, and they don't want to dim your light, but they want to uplift you in the best way they can, because they know who you are and they know who they are. So surround yourself with this kind of women, and I'll see you in the next episode.